Yo, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Nomad222. I'm back with another episode of Progress Report. This is episode number, it's not 26. I know it's not number 26. This is episode number 24. 24, Kobe Bryant episode. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome back. If you have been following this series for quite some time now, whether you've seen every episode or seen a couple of them, welcome back. If you haven't, make sure you go back and watch episode 1 of this series. It's in a playlist on YouTube. So yeah, check out the other videos so that you can get the context of what is going on here, why I'm spouting all these numbers and things like that. But if you find yourself back here, and for those of you who are just returning, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Starting with the Spotify monthly listeners, as we always do. You know that our target is 4 million monthly listeners, and this week we are a little bit closer to it, just a little bit. You know, last week we were at 527 monthly listeners. We are now sitting at 572 monthly listeners. That's great. Still ages away from 4 million, but you know, at least we're going back up. So we were going down for a minute there. We went from 1,015 in week 14 to 444 2 weeks ago, and now we're at 572. So let's continue to, try and ride this momentum and get that trajectory up to as high as we can take it, but that's what we're sitting at. And before I move on, I do want to go through my top countries, my top cities, and what the demographic is overall. So we are sitting at 161 listeners in Australia, 98 listeners in the US, 83 listeners in the Philippines, 39 listeners in New Zealand, and 27 listeners in South Africa. That still blows my mind. That's crazy. Top cities, out of those countries, these are the top cities. So the 5 cities are 100 listeners in Melbourne, 24 listeners in Sydney, 24 listeners in Brisbane. Hey, 24 is a significant number today. RIP Kobe Bean. 20 listeners in Johannesburg, 19 listeners in Auckland. The gender has not really changed. 24% female listeners. That's 1% down from last week. 71 male listeners. That's 2% up from last week. 2% non-binary, 3% not specified. That's 1% down from last week. Listeners' age is pretty much exactly the same, but I've got 2% more in the 25 to 34 demographic. But those ages and genders is not as important as just understanding where people are listening to. So not to say that I don't really care, but look, if I don't care what age you are, what gender you are, if you're listening to my music, I fuck with you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. In the past week, we've had 1,048 streams. So in that 7-day period from last week, 1,048 streams. So we're sitting at 161,254 streams all time. So that's cool. Thank you, everyone. 304 followers as of today. That's 3 up from last week. We're still down from our peak, which was 327. I don't know where those people have gone, but look, I'm glad you were there for a period of time. We had a moment. It was a brief encounter, but I thank you for your time and appreciate you. Moving forward, we thank you to the 3 people who have followed again. I appreciate it. If you're watching this and you're not following me on Spotify, get your ass in the gear. Follow me on Spotify. All right, we're trying to go up. We got 1,234 playlist ads. That's 19 more playlist ads in the past 7 days, and that is Spotify. That's our Spotify Wrapped for that week. Yeah. Thank you to everyone on Spotify. Now let's turn our attention to Apple Music, the platform that we don't do as well on, but it is still the second most significant platform that I focus on out of personal preference. So we got 2 monthly listeners. That is the consistent number 2 that we've had for a while. But for some reason, it was showing that in the past 28 days, I've had 22 listeners in Melbourne, 5 listeners in Seoul, North Korea, 4 listeners in Brisbane, 2 in Oyama. Japan has entered the chat. So throw some W's in the chat, comment below. 2 in Sydney as well. So that's cool. I I just thought I'd add that here since I was already adding it to the Spotify data, but now we got Apple Music data, and I'm apparently getting listens in Korea and Japan. So amazing. Two places that I'd love to visit. But yeah, did I say North Korea before? Sorry, not North. South Korea. So shout out to Seoul. Damn, maybe they're listening to me in the Squid Game. No, that was dumb. Anyway, followers. Sorry, the all-time streams on Apple Music is 8,368. Just throw that in there. We got 39 streams on Apple Music in the past week, which is not bad considering that the amount of streams we got on... Actually, no, it's not that much. I was gonna say, for some reason, I thought it was only like over 100 streams that we had on Spotify this past week, but it was over 1,000, and we've got 39 streams on Apple Music, so kind of pales in comparison. But that is Apple Music for us. It is still an important one to me. I hope to continue to do numbers on Apple Music, and again, I encourage everyone who's on Spotify, if you, for some reason, if I become the reason why you would want to, for one day switch over from Spotify to Apple Music, I wouldn't be mad at it. I highly encourage it. For artists, it supports us more because the payout from Apple Music compared to Spotify is so much higher. But that is it's completely up to you. If you want to support us even more than that, get rid of all the platforms so that Spotify and Apple Music are forced to either shut their doors or reevaluate how unfair they are to artists. But anyway, that's a whole other rant for a different time. Let's move on to social media. Social media is very exciting. Social media is, one of the main reasons why I even have a career as an artist to this day. Starting with Instagram, we have had an increase in 20 new followers on Instagram. We are at 4,128. TikTok, we are at 5,535. So that's also 20 new followers. And on YouTube, we have hit 649 subscribers. I am just blown away by the amount of people that are subscribing to the channel on YouTube. It means the world that you guys are not only tapped in and locking into the content that I'm uploading to there, but the fact that you guys are actually subscribing to the channel, and we are getting, from 625 to 649, that's 24 new subscribers. We're 24 steps closer to 1,000 subscribers, and that much closer to a golden play button. So thank you to everybody on YouTube, where you guys are probably watching this, unless you're seeing a clip on TikTok or Instagram. In that case, go over to YouTube and subscribe. That's how big our audience has increased in the past 7 days. On Instagram, we got 23,059 views and 435 interactions. Now, those views were viewed by 32.9% of people already following me and 67.1% of people not following me. So that's cool. That's up from last week, where it's more people that the algorithm is pushing me to that haven't heard of me before. So that's amazing. 435 interactions from 64.1 people already following me and 35.9% non-followers. Now, it's still more people following me that are interacting with my content compared to non-followers, but the non-followers are up. So not only am I breaking through the algorithmic wall that I was hitting earlier, but we're breaking through and people are actually resonating enough to comment on it. And look, this week there has been some additional hate. I spoke about that last week too, where I've been getting some more haters. It looks like that's just going to continue to happen. But we are building that mental fortitude. The more I am face to face with that, occurring, the more used to it I'm going to get. So fucking bring it on. Bring your worst. I could give a fuck what people are saying online. That ain't real life. Come see me in real life. Say some shit to me in real life. we'll deal with it then. But anyway, I'm paying attention to all the positivity that's coming out as well. I really do appreciate you guys for, encouraging me, and shout out to the usual suspects as well who are, constantly in my comment section, bigging me up, letting me know what they think about my content, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, what I'm rapping about, whatever. I really do appreciate it. And, the fact that you guys still exist means that all the people that are just hating in the comments for no reason, they can't even get it inside the club. Why would I give a fuck what they say? When you guys are telling me, for every one bad comment, I got 5 more positive comments. So it's all love there. Anyway, on TikTok, we had 11,000 views in the past week, 728 likes, 91 comments, 11 shares. That's down from last week, but it's still quite high. I'm still pretty positive about it. On YouTube, we had 6,288 views, 214 likes, 9 shares, and 17 comments, which is up from last week. So amazing. Keep going up. Now, with those stats, Instagram is at a 1.89% engagement rate, which is down from last week. It's also below average. And ChatGPT has suggested to me once again that I can increase interactions with stronger CTAs and more engaging captions. Now, I want to shout out the bro on TikTok that reminded me that CTA means call to action. And call to action is something that I do on pretty much everything I post. I'm letting you guys know to either subscribe to the channel, follow me on Spotify, follow me on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I'm always telling you guys to do something, and I'm saying it in the content right now. So please, if you're not already following me on either one of these platforms, or you're not already subscribed, you're not already listening to the music, please pick one of those CTAs, pick one of those actions. This is my call to action to you guys. Please engage with my content. It means the world. It actually does affect me in a very positive way. Even if you want to get in the comments and be one of those haters and leave something negative, it's still going to help me with this engagement rate and get me to that next threshold. So yes, thank you. Even though it's down, I appreciate you. For those of you who are on Instagram who at least interacted, even if it's not up as much as last week. But TikTok is a whole other story. It's not the biggest difference not the biggest increase, but we went from 7.4 last week to 7.49%. Yeah, 0.09% increase, which is above average for the platform. And ChatGPT also said it's a strong performance, but increasing shares could further enhance reach. So we had 11 shares in this past week, which compared to last week where we only had 2 shares, it's a big leap, but look, more people sharing on TikTok would help to get this engagement rate up. So let's keep driving that. On YouTube, my engagement rate went down from last week where it was at 4.20%. We are now sitting at 3.7%, which is moderate to slightly below average. The engagement is decent, but could improve with more direct audience interaction. Now, YouTube is always surprising me. Every single week, I feel like we're making strides. So I'm not gonna pressure you guys too much on that. Like, you guys are commenting. I have frequent comments on pretty much everything I'm posting, and I'm also aware that I'm posting at a very high rate as well. There's at least 2 to 3 videos going out every single day. So with that being said, if some of these videos kind of fall under the radar and you can't catch that, maybe you will catch post number 3, maybe you'll catch post number 1 and miss the next 2. That's fine. But if you guys see my content anywhere, let me know what you think about it, or at the very least just let me know that you've seen it somehow. Do a yellow thumbs up if you see this on whatever platform it is, just so that I know that you guys watched it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. And that's the stats. That's the stats for this week, guys. That's progress report. It's been a good week in my opinion. So More Than a Game has been out for about 2 weeks now. Just Do It is going to drop next Friday, so that's exciting. I know I've been a little bit down about More Than a Game and how it's performing on Spotify specifically, how it's just performing overall, but I do want to say that we are sitting at 133 streams as of today. Again, you guys know, in comparison to Proud of Me, it does feel like a huge dip, you know, because Proud of Me is just approaching 700 streams, and that has been out for, you know, nearly a month now. And More Than a Game is, you know, we had to crawl to get to 100 streams, and that kind of feels like, you know, people heard the first one and then they were like, nah, I don't fuck with this new direction, and then they heard snippets of the second one and they were like, I'm not even going to give this the time of day. And that's cool. That's cool if you're like that, if you're a listener like that. Look, my music is not going to be for everyone, but there was, I hate that I'm even giving this attention, but it is something that I want to bring up. And because it gives me a perspective into how people are viewing my content and how people are thinking. And I want to put forward a different message to counteract that as well. So what I wanted to bring up was that someone in my comments was hating, and they were like, they said something about how in one of my shorts I was talking about nuance and how I want to, you know, dig deeper in my content and the music that I make. And they pretty much just wanted to trash how much I here, let me read it out for you exactly what they said. So this person said, show me the work if what you say is true. At where did you insert these nuances? I've heard one song of yours, but nothing that would suggest the depth you have precisely mentioned. Please show me, let me correct it and help. Now, first of all, you've heard one of my songs. All right. And this isn't, I'm not saying that because I want to, you know, spend all my time responding to haters on the internet, but it brings something up. It brings up a frustration about how consumers listen to music these days. And it's this approach that you're going to listen to one song of an artist and then you're going to make up your entire perception of how that person is as a creative based on that one piece of work. Now, think about this, right? Think about the artists that we know, the famous artists of all time, you know, Leonardo da Vinci, Pablo Picasso, Vincent van Gogh, right? Imagine their very first piece of work that they created when they were like 5 years old, and they were just using, you know, cheap, whatever paper and colored art that they could get from, you know, whatever their parents got for them from the market, or whatever they were able to steal on the streets of Venice or wherever they lived or whatever. Imagine that very first piece of work. Imagine your very first piece of work. Probably shit. It was probably shit, right? Imagine if you then went on to create a legacy for yourself of having amazing work, because it just improves and improves over time, right? But people can't get past the fact that something that you made at 5 years old wasn't to their liking. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that is a fair assessment of one person's entire body of work just because you've listened to one song? Now, look, the song that you are thinking of is probably More Than a Game. And understandably, like, this is something that even my friends have told me, it is not my style of music, and that's fine. But it is one song in a very diverse catalog of music that I have. And not to mention, you're going to call me out and say that, you know, where are these nuances that you're talking about, this depth that you precisely mentioned? The depth that I've precisely mentioned is in my catalog for you to go listen to. And I don't want, as much as I don't want to tell you to go and listen to The News or go and listen to Be Like That and all these other meaningful songs that captures that depth that I've mentioned, like, it shouldn't be up to me to go tell you to do your due diligence, right? There's artists that I dislike. But the thing about me is I'm going to listen to everything that they put out in order to make a fair assessment on why they are trash. For example, Future. Future is someone that I've listened to basically his entire catalog in order to get on here and tell you guys confidently Future is ass. All right? And that's I'm making that very clear how I feel about Future. And that is not based on nothing. That is not based on just one song that I've heard of him. It's his entire catalog where he's bashing women and talking trash about women and talking about, you know, being there with, like, man, anyway, getting back to the point. You can't base your opinion of me based on this one song. I made one song that I just wanted to make an anthem for people to, you know, play at a gym, play over a highlight reel for football and stuff like that. But that is not my entire creative essence. You know, I make all kinds of shit. I got some dance tracks dropping during this run. You don't know. You don't know what I'm gonna do. And that's something that I'm very prideful of. Variety, diversity. I incorporate these things into my music. I'm not gonna continue to just do the same old thing and be a one-trick pony for the rest of my career. I'm gonna diversify. I'm gonna do a bunch of different shit. I'm gonna throw it at the wall and I'm gonna see what sticks. And that's who I am as a creative. That's what I do. So for you to chalk up my entire creativity for this one song that you dislike is unfair. And I'm not going to pay you any more energy, but it's an issue that I have with with our society in general. People are listening to one song and then deciding that someone is trash and then not giving them the time of day ever, right? You know, people heard Grippy from J. Cole on Cash Cobain's track, and they thought he's fallen off. That's it for him. He's never going to come back again. And to be fair, it did fall, you know, after that period of the Drake and Kendrick beef where people thought that J. Cole was going to be part of it, and then he apologized, and then he dropped Grippy. So it was a timing thing for that as well. But for you to say that J. Cole, one of the best hip-hop artists of all time, one of the greatest of this generation, has fallen off just off of that one song where, you know, clearly the bro just wanted to have some fun. We can't allow him to just have some fun for a moment. We can't allow people to just have one bad day. We want to judge people off their worst day. It's not fair. But if that's the way that the game is, look, at the end of the day, I've said it time and time before. I am not trying to cater to everybody. And if you don't want to be here, get off the bus now. But for those of you who want to come to the same destination as me, we're gonna ride this out to the end. We're gonna ride this out till the wheels fall off. And that is where I'm going to leave that conversation. I'm not gonna hop on about it anymore because I know that the hate is just gonna continue to come. The negativity is gonna continue to come. But in tandem with that, like I said, for every one bad comment, there's 5 more positive ones. And that's what I'm gonna choose to focus on from this point forward. I won't bring that shit up again. And if I do, call me out on it and let me know. Because, look, shit happens. Other than that, what else is happening lately? My brother, Milo, is performing at Summer Jam next Friday. He's doing I think it's a 5-minute set or something like that. He's doing a couple of songs. But Milo, you know, if you haven't heard his music already, he's got 3 tracks out. He's got a Sprinter Freestyle. He's got DTL, which is my personal favorite. He's got TLC out as well. And he's got more music on the way this year. He is sitting on some really, like, he's talking some real, in his words, he's talking some real spiel. He's got a bunch of dope tracks coming out. He's got some bangers and all of that. And I want to shout out to my boy Maiden May as well, who Milo has been working heavily with. They've been, you know, really locked in and creating together. Just a bunch of dope stuff on the way. And if you can make it to Summer Jam next Friday, he's told me that Friday is free. So come out on Friday, see Milo. And if you want to buy some tickets to the rest of Summer Jam, that's happening next week too. Phantomania is happening next Saturday, which is where I'm going to. I'm going to Phantomania. That's going to be good. My boy Quasi's like created Phantom, and the whole Phantom fam is going to be there. We're going to be playing new music. There's going to be some performances too. Check it out where you can find it. Yeah, what else is happening? Later on this month, my job, Multicultural Arts Victoria, is hosting our block party. It's a celebration of retrospection, which is our 50 years of being a community arts organization in Melbourne and supporting diversity and versatility in the art scene in Victoria. It's also our housewarming party as well, in a sense, because we've just moved into this office at Melbourne Polytechnic in Preston. We've been there for I want to say about a year or just over now, but we're finally settled in. We're finally in a place where we want to invite community to come out. There's going to be a bunch of different performances, live music performances, including Public Opinion Afro Orchestra. There's going to be Vita Sunshine will be playing live with a band. J-Verse is jumping up. I believe Soju Gang is going to be doing a DJ set too. A bunch of different live performances. But in addition to that, we've got some workshops happening too. Siva Afi is going to be running multiple sessions throughout the day. My cousin Logan Tapawala is going to be running that. There is going to be different workshops happening in the tent. Including Vita Sunshine is also going to be doing a workshop in that tent as well. There's going to be different stalls and vendors. There's going to be some zines being sold inside the campus as well. We're going to be doing film screening. There's going to be a rhymes and roots showdown between rappers and poets. That's going to be crazy. The lineup for that is going to be announced very soon. The Being Biracial live podcast is going to be happening, affectionately known as the BBL podcast. So the Being Biracial crew is going to be there doing a live podcast with different people. The winner of the poet and rapper showdown is actually going to be featured on that too. So make sure you check that out. There's going to be an exhibition with different artwork. There is a lot happening, and it's free entry for all ages, so make sure you come down. Go follow Multicultural Arts Victoria. I believe it's at MAV Arts. Follow us, check out our website. All the details are there. Make sure you come down, bring your entire family. We want to see you there and show you guys what we do, and come and see me, because I'm going to be there too. We got a volunteer call out too, so if you want to get involved on the back end, we're taking volunteers. But yeah, come and see me. Come and see our team. I want to see you guys. Yeah. So what else? Just Do It is dropping on February 7th. So I feel good about that. I'm looking forward to it. I filmed some more content that I got to edit and piece together. So that's going to be coming out shortly. I think that's pretty much it, guys. I could ramble on forever, but really appreciate the views. I really appreciate everyone that is riding with me and wanting to see me succeed. I'm gonna do it. I'm just as simple as that. You guys want me to do it, so I'll do it. I'll do it, guys. I will succeed. I will make it happen for us. But we're gonna get there. Look, I'm glad that 24 episodes, 26 weeks in, we're still doing this because you guys keep coming back to these videos and watching them and sticking with me and interested in understanding the journey a little bit better. And you guys are helping me to get better at this. Look, I have my off weeks where I'm a little bit, sometimes I feel crazy, sometimes I feel lazy. Shout out to Gator from Dave. But sometimes I feel a little bit down and I don't have as much energy, but I still jump on and I try and do this for you guys. But other times like today, I feel really in tune. I feel really switched on. I feel like I'm in a good place, and I just want to talk shit with you guys and just give you guys something entertaining. So hopefully this is of some value to all of you. But I'm gonna keep doing it regardless. The more that I see you guys show up, and the more that I see you guys watching this and interacting with it, I'm gonna be back and continue to do this, and hopefully you enjoy the music that is on the way as well. But again, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you didn't like it, dislike that shit as hard as you can. Please subscribe to the channel so that we can get the golden play button. What else? Comment below. I want to see you guys comment Tascam, Tascam. Comment that below if you guys watch this all the way to the end. Otherwise, I've been Nomad222. New music out next Friday. And remember, most importantly, what is it again? Together. Oh, that's right. We move.